everybody. Welcome back. And we have a very special. I know we've been saying that a lot recently, but today we are going to be reviewing a movie that pretty much took the world by storm. That's not the Super Mario Brothers movie. It is Barbie, which also came out this year during the summer with Oppenheimer.
I feel like we're the kind of the wrong people to be discussing this.
And I came out in 2019.
But we're still going to talk about it.
Okay, for the record, my mom was the one who requested this,
hmm
and she did give us some discussion questions to help us through the review.
And we will. And there's actually some interesting discussions and questions we can discuss.
Yeah.
But overall, the general premise of the Barbie movie is Barbie and Ken, they're living happily in their Barbie world, but all of a sudden their world changes forever when they get a taste of the real world, which is both everything they expected and not what they expected at the same time.
Well, their life in plastic was fantastic.
Ah, there we go.
Well, at least she can still brush her hair.
And
That's
you
true.
can dress her everywhere. Like, that's
Oh,
so
come
wrong.
on.
Come on, Barbie.
You will
said
not
Ken.
break
It's still
me.
Barbie.
I did not think of that until, like, how wrong that was until it came out.
Well, they did
Oh,
mention that
no.
but so don't worry about it, Jessup. You just have to use your imagination.
And life is creation.
Imagination.
Oh, that's the awkward
Fornication.
stuff.
Okay, so anyways, should we go into discussion questions or should we just talk about what we quickly thought about the movie?
Your choice.
Maybe we should give our quick general thoughts on the movie. I thought it was pretty good. It's not anything spectacular. I was surprised on how political it was. I really liked Margot Robbie. I really liked Ryan Gosling. This is something that Jessica and I talked about a little bit that I thought was interesting. I kind of liked the scenes with like Will Ferrell and like all the business people. Him, not so much.
Yeah, that took me out of the movie. I mean, the one thing, and I will admit, there was a moment that made me cringe when Barbie reveals herself to the high schooler.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, also, I'm trying to like make a point for that. I'm not saying this movie's a masterpiece,
Oh
but
no, but it was still really good.
yeah, I feel like I kind of feel like there were parts in the human world where it just felt rushed,
I
Yeah.
get that, yeah.
I was expecting lots of some hijinks in the real world, but
Yeah.
I think that's not. I don't think that was the real premise. I think it's more about Barbie trying to find her identity.
hmm
Also, for the record, we didn't really grow up with Barbie. Can we all agree on that?
No, yeah,
I mean,
Well,
sure. I mean, I had a sister. We
oh,
had some of us had siblings who played with Barbies, like little sisters and stuff.
yeah. I think my sister did.
Yeah, my sister did
older
too.
sister, and I played with the Ken doll, and I also enjoyed Barbie and the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
I
I do remember my sister had one of those Barbie castles when she was a kid,
Yeah.
and we also had pet hamsters and mice. And there was one day where we were playing, we just let the mice and hamsters run loose inside the Barbie castle.
ooh.
Oh no.
No, we put like little barriers up at the entrances and exits so that they couldn't get out. But they seem to have fun in there.
So, what do you guys overall think?
Well, I first of all, I thought it was hilarious.
I had to watch it a couple days ago here at my apartment, and there were moments that made me laugh so hard.
Oh
I think
yeah.
my neighbors thought I was having a mental breakdown.
Oh
Yeah.
I think what really stands out for me isn't just the humor in the performances, but what the story's really about. It's overall a celebration of Barbie for why we need it. It's the original. It helped me reevaluate why Barbie's important. People are like, "Oh, Barbie has impossible anatomy. She's so thin. It's giving a esteem issues because we can't be that thin. No, the whole point of Barbie is you can is to remind girls that they can be anything that they want to be. And yeah, it's not perfect, but you can still make change. You can still take steps to make changes for the better. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, and it's to give you the inspiration to take that chance.
And that actually goes into one of the, I guess we're doing the discussion questions out of order because that connects to the second of these questions that I have on the list.
Yeah.
So each question is followed by a quote from the movie. So I'll read the quote first, okay? Should I do that? We'll read the question or the quote first.
You can read the quote first.
Okay. The quote comes from Ruth, Barbie's creator, who ends up being a character in the movie, for the record. Humans only have one ending. Ideas live forever. And the question is, what are some ideas that you think live forever?
Let's see.
Evolution.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Patrick.
Sorry. Not evolution. Ideas that live forever. Growth. Or color theory. Well, that's too shallow. It's like stories. Stories cannot live their creators.
That's true. And we see that all the time with Tolkien and stuff, and like some of the fantasy stories we like. Some of the creators of those are long gone, but we still remember their stories. We remember the characters. Even sometimes political ideologies too.
Exactly.
I want to. Sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
No, I said exactly. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, so when you guys mentioned stories, that kind of brought up something that I wanted to like add on to that question. So there are different creators of different stories or properties that even though the people are long gone, their work still stands with us to this day, like Dr. Seuss. Like you see people reading his books, mostly kids, still to this day, and it's probably where a lot of them started learning how to read. And Walt Disney. Yes, today people sometimes make fun of Disney, but you can't help but know that, the work that has been made from ever since Walt Disney started the company up until his passing, up until the Disney Renaissance with Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, all those. And even today, a lot of their movies still hold up extremely well. So yeah, I think that's some examples of some stuff that we can remember. And even though it's technically the same thing, I feel like Star Wars, the original trilogy, everybody's gonna be talking about them for years to come.
Even with the newer Star Wars movies too, like people still talk about the prequels
And
as
people
well.
talk about the new trilogy, say whatever you want about those.
And there are parts of and just on a tangent, there are parts of the new trilogy that I really love.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. And I hope that they focus more on those things I love if they do more spin-offs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah. Should I go back to the first question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The quote is from Barbie herself. I would never wear heels if my feet were shaped like this.
So I think. Sorry, go ahead.
And the question is, what is Barbie suggesting about her perfectness?
So I kind of noticed this. I think she noticed that not everything is as perfect as it seems. Because in the movie, she and the other Barbies thought that they were empowering women in the real world, when really that's not entirely the case. It seems like.
Yeah.
Well, we get the first part of the conversation from the next generation of kids. Like, no, you're not. You're not helping anyone. You're giving self-esteem issues. You're sexist. You're fascist, even though you don't control the railways. And that brings up the idea that Barbie is not fixing problems. And then the second half of the movie is explaining how Barbie can help make changes.
Really good point. Yeah. And one thing I like is that the ultimate thing that the Barbies and Kens decide on in terms of like being leaders and stuff is they decide on balance between the Barbies and the Kens. They don't say, oh, all the Ken should rule or all the Barbies should rule. They find like a good. They say they're going to try to find a good balance.
No, because in the beginning it was just the Barbies that
Exactly.
and the Kens, they were kind of just there.
Yeah, and the idea is that it kind of gets traversed when Ken comes back from the real world. Spoilers.
Ryan Gosling Ken, because not even joking, literally every character in this world, in this Barbie world, is named either Barbie or Ken.
Except for Alan.
Except for Alan. Poor Alan. He never gets a break.
Yeah, Michael Cera was great as Alan.
Yeah, it was. I really loved how
I ended up loving him when he confronted all those Kens in the other car. But well, that's beside the point.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. How many? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 of these.
The third one?
Yeah, third one. Okay. The quote is from Barbie again. It is the best day ever. So was yesterday, and so is tomorrow, and every day from now on until ever. And the question is, what would it be like to have the same best day over and over and over? I think I know the answer to this already.
All right, go ahead. I'm curious.
Okay, so do you remember that there was I don't know I don't know why I'm thinking of this but there was this Donald Duck cartoon I remember that was like Christmas themed where he was
I remember that. I remember that.
Christmas over and over again, and then you get kind of bored of it after a while.
They always the brothers wished it was Christmas every day, and
that's right. Yeah.
And at first they're ecstatic, but then they're starting getting sick of it. They want a change. They want things to be different.
I think that would be kind of the same result here.
Yeah, to actually have the day feel special again. Which is why it really helps set up the whole premise that Barbie's starting to not feel happy with having the best day of her life every day, even if she doesn't realize it until she says that famous line, "Never think about dying."
Oh gosh, and that sets up the whole movie too.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So how do I'm trying to put this into the right words. So I feel like Barbie, the Barbies and the Kens were living probably their best lives ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it just goes to show that even the best lives will have some obstacles that come with it.
Yeah, no life can be perfect. We're human beings. We are flawed creatures. We are designed to make mistakes.
And real quick, I want to make this quick comparison.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna sound weird, but just bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's the season, I always watch It's a Wonderful Life, where this guy, he's very unhappy with his life until he truly realizes how much he's made an impact on the people around him.
I love that movie. I've seen it before. I love it.
Yeah.
And the townspeople, all the people he's helped over his life, they have never taken him for granted. And when his hour of need comes, they pay him back in spades.
Yep.
But now back to Barbie.
Okay, yeah. Okay, next quote. This actually comes. So there is a narrator for the movie,
played by Helen Mirren.
Yeah, who, by the way, one of her lines got the best laugh out of me. It's when she breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And notes that Margot Robbie was a terrible choice to play Barbie.
No, the line was, "Note to the filmmakers: Margot Robbie is the wrong actress to make this point." When Margot Robbie says, "I'm not pretty anymore." Okay.
That cracked me up. Anyways, I actually thought she was a great Barbie. Anyways, so this line comes from the narrator. Barbie has a great day every day, but Ken only has a great day if Barbie looks at him. And the quote is, Ken is only defined by his relationship with Barbie. Why is this a bad idea?
Right?
Well, first of all, that's he's not just defined by his relationship with Barbie. He does have his own career paths like Barbie. Um, having
Well,
your
not at the
whole
start
life,
of the movie. I think this quote came
I
from the
know.
beginning of the movie.
No, I'm just saying for the record.
Yeah.
If you have your whole life surrounding only focused on one thing, it's never gonna leave your. It's never going to be enough because if that's the only way that makes Ken happy, then he'll never truly be himself. He'll never have his own identity. He'll never be Ken enough.
That's actually one of the later questions, actually.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
shoot. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, yeah. I mean, people need to find things outside of love to aspire for, whether it be making our reviews, whether it be a career, whether it be just having like a fun hobby.
Yeah.
I think just aspiring to be other things is what makes us complex individuals.
Yeah, 'cause I think there is just, more than just, finding the right partner. Like Jessup said, you may want to find a career that you end up loving, or you may want to hang out with your friends, or you may want to find a hobby, or do a little bit of traveling.
Yes,
Find
don't.
something that you think really that can really make you happy.
It's not just romance. It goes for anything, really.
Mhm.
Like
And there's
you
nothing
can't.
wrong with romance at all.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Just I'm just saying for the record.
Yeah.
All right. What's
A little
the
bit of a
next
tangent, but
question?
have either of you seen another film called Love Actually? My mom made me watch this last year.
I know it's
I've
being released in
seen
theaters for its 20th anniversary, but I've not seen it.
Okay.
neither
It's
have I.
basically kind of the anthology of various love stories around Christmas time. But they kind of like weave in and out of each other, and some of them do like connect at the end. But one of these little storylines follows Martin Freeman, and I'm blanking on the actor's name. Who are stand-ins on like a porn shoot. But they ended up having like one of the healthiest relationships in the whole movie because they just start chatting about like traffic and the weather and just casual things. And it builds up into like a serious relationship.
Hmm. And that's really what it takes.
Yeah. And you'd expect Friedman's character, given the work he's doing, to be kind of a mean guy, but no, he's one of the nicest characters in the whole film. Alan Rickman, as in one of the other storylines, married to Emma Thompson's character. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
his whole story is like he is being tempted to cheat on his wife with this young assistant, which is a terrible thing.
Hmm.
Anyways, next question. Quote is from Weird Barbie. Can you explain that character quickly, Will?
So basically, Weird Barbie is the Barbie that kids would twist around, draw on, tear up their hair. That's Weird Barbie.
And what was the actress who played her name? I'm blanking on her name.
Hey,
That's
Madonna, I think.
Okay, yeah. She was great. I loved all the
Oh, yeah.
flexibility of the character. So the quote is, "That cellulite." So for context of this,
Yeah.
Margaret Robbie's Barbie gets cellulite,
Hmm.
and Weird Barbie has to explain it to Margaret Robbie's Barbie. Quote, "Cellulite is completely normal and not perfect. What point is the movie trying to make about perfection?"
It's overrated.
Yeah, I think that's Patrick who pretty much just took the words out of my mouth, and that it's okay to be normal.
Yep.
Pardon me for all the weird lighting going on. I had to leave the library and I can't really stay in the parking lot, and I'm trying to find a good spot to park in so I don't look like I'm loitering. And I'm also trying not to use up the car lights because I'm afraid it might drain the battery.
That's fine. That's fine. Understandable, Patrick. You were driving. Just be safe, man. Okay.
Yeah, I'm parked somewhere.
Okay.
I'm
Good.
just-
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, there's 6 more. Okay. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Quote: No one rests until the doll is back in the box. Will Ferrell's CEO character.
Hmm.
What might the box symbolize?
This might actually be a tough one.
So
Ooh,
for context, Barbie goes to the Mattel I guess the factory or the business office,
Yeah.
she's
which
brought
Will
there.
Ferrell's character runs,
Hmm.
and they have this giant box that they put Barbie in that looks like a box you see a Barbie doll in, that they say will transport her back to Barbie Land, but she never goes through with it. She ends up escaping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of all we see of the box. So, what might the box represent? That's a
Yeah, it's really tough, honestly.
Thinking outside the box. Do you have like how to give you a better idea? Anyone seen Oregon High School Host Club?
I don't think I have it.
It's this anime, and one of the character in a spotlight episode for one of the characters. He's cool. He's uh he's kind of not as excitable or bubbly as the rest of the cast. He has a stern father who has high expectations for him, and it's represented by him trying to paint a masterpiece inside of a perfect frame. And and when he meets his best friend, who broadens his view, he it's represented by him going outside the frame and creating something even more beautiful. He the box is the limit. You're not supposed to, and the box represents what it represents limits.
Mm.
That's the best way you can think
So
of
they're
it.
trying to limit Barbie.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Another thought I had personally is that what was the CEO's ultimate goal? Because he starts chasing the Barbie, then gets to Barbie Land. I guess kind of sees everything going on and just decides to let it all go.
Yeah.
It
The more
feels
I
a
think
little
about it, the more I
feels a
think
little
about it, the
useless.
more it's like I feel like the CEO was just there for like a couple laughs.
Yeah,
I
and
think he's
you clearly love the CEO, Will.
I mean
No, I thought me personally, that's where I got the most laughs, but that's just my take.
Yeah,
so my
I
take
can see how people find him funny because it's Will Ferrell doing his Will Ferrell thing.
Yeah, well, it's
and
also like the corporate people are kind of idiots in this
Yeah,
movie.
I love them all just riding the bicycle.
Yeah,
well
that was pretty funny, and how they're all chasing Barbie at the keep failing, even though
yeah. So
You
I
want to say
think
something, Patrick?
yeah, the CEO's goal is trying to make sure things don't change drastically. Like when Ken takes over Barbie Land and suddenly the image for Mattel is altered because it's focused on Barbie for the most part, and then it's Ken, and
That's right. That's right. Yeah, because they do show pretend products
he's trying,
being shipped out. Yeah.
yeah, and he's afraid of Barbie interacting in the real world because it would change things too drastically. Like, but all in one scenario, there was an earlier incident where it involved a skipper escaping and almost and in
Why did you
accidentally
mention
putting
the Skipper incident? Who
yeah,
is
and
Skipper?
accident Skipper is Barbie's younger sister.
Okay.
Not in the movie at least. Uh, and Skipper inadvertently putting a child in danger trying to have fun, and he's trying to maintain the status quo because when changes happen, when when changes happen, everything's different.
Okay.
okay. Next question.
Next quote comes from Ken. You guys are not doing patriarchy very well. What does patriarchy mean, and why might Ken talk about it, considering he is from the Barbie world?
This is another tough one, I think.
Patriarchy refers to male dominance, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact definition of patriarchy, and Ken feels offended because where he's from, he and the rest of the Kens are secondary.
That's
He's
true.
like they're not. He feels like they're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Which doing enough in his case would be an extreme. He doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
He wants it to be what it feels like in Barbie if Kens were running it,
Mm-hmm.
which he seems to accomplish by taking over Barbie Land.
Yeah, I think it was also like his exposure to the real world, because in the real world in the movie, it's the men who are running a lot of things, and he wants to take that and bring it back to Barbie Land.
Okay. Next question. We've got 4 more.
Okay,
Okay, the quote comes from Sasha, the teenager. Was it right? That was Sasha, right?
yeah,
I
Sasha.
think so.
Yeah. You've been making women feel bad about themselves since you were invented.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah.
the question is, remember that Barbie has impossible body proportions. What is Sasha accusing Mattel of doing?
She's accusing them of being sexist and
How so?
what?
How so? I think they want us to go further with this. Like, how are they being
Yeah.
sexist?
Of setting up high expectations and expecting them to fail. It's I can't, I'm not sure how to go deeper into this. It goes into the theme of identity and self-worth.
Yeah, no, I get it. In a way, it's kind of body shaming.
Yeah.
Let me see how. Let me try to put him. Let me see how I can word it. Hold on. I think Sasha is accusing Mattel of making Barbie quote too perfect, if that makes sense. Because, like it says in the question, Barbie has impossible body proportions. Like she has the perfect. She has the perfect everything. Like this was a key character that at one point girls loved. Like they aspire to be like Barbie.
Our sisters.
Sisters,
Brothers.
anybody really.
Yeah, but when you talk to them nowadays, what do they think of Barbie?
I
I
don't know.
think
Never asked my sister.
they would probably say like they enjoyed it, but nowadays, well, obviously not so much because they're living their best lives right now. Um,
Yeah. Actually, I can kind of relate this to something that happened with our reviews.
yeah,
Remember, way back when you and I reviewed Twilight, like the first Twilight?
yes,
Ooh.
So, for the record, that video is not up on our channel anymore.
yes.
How
Um,
come?
uh, long story, but
Very long story.
yeah, we ultimately decided because we were just reviewing the first one on its own,
Mm-hmm.
and we decided that yeah, it wasn't good, but it had some cool stuff. Like I loved all the practical effects in it,
Oh yeah.
which we noted. Um, and some side characters would work for us, and
Mm-hmm.
we decided that if it was just the first Twilight on its own, there were no sequels. We wouldn't. I don't think you would have gotten nearly as much hate as it did. But yeah.
Trust me, it goes deeper than just.
Oh, I know the sequels exist, but we were not reviewing the sequels.
Yeah, I know it goes much deeper into why Twilight can be so problematic.
Yeah, no, I get that, but it's people don't really talk about it anymore. Anyways, point is that when we were reviewing it, I wanted to borrow. I knew my sister loved the Twilight books and the movies, and I borrowed her copy of the Twilight DVD for the review so I could watch it. And she mentioned that she didn't have any more. She was done with Twilight. She did not like it anymore. So I think it's kind of mirrors that too. Like people, when something sticks around for a long period of time and it has problems, people notice those problems.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually kind of turns back on itself where, yes, we still notice the problems, but we accept it. I think in terms of something that we guys like, the Star Wars prequels are kind of like that now.
Yeah.
People saw the problems, said that they were the worst thing ever. Now people just don't care anymore.
No, not
and
really.
they're starting to reevaluate certain things, like realizing, oh god, we were being way too harsh. We said death threats to the actor of Jar Jar Binks. Oh my god, that is messed up. And
Well, look at
Hayden
the good stuff
Christensen,
too. Like, I'd say
and
the
Hayden
story is
Christensen,
well paced. It's just in
yeah,
execution, the story didn't work out.
yeah.
There's mostly the writing that some of these actors were given.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, like the basic story structure was really good.
Right. I mean, if you made a couple more drafts of the scripts, then we actually could have gotten something.
And for the record, about the death threats, I am glad Ahmad Best is getting like the respect he deserves. Like, I
Yes,
remember
Hayden
seeing
Christensen
this at
too.
like one of the Star Wars Celebration events, where he was given a standing ovation by the whole crowd.
Aw,
That just warms my heart.
yeah.
And he got a new role in Star Wars too. He's playing this new Jedi character named Kelleran Beck,
Mm-hmm.
who he's only been in one episode of Mandalorian, and he had this side thing going on with this
With
Star Wars
Bane.
version of Legends of the Hidden Temple. But I like the character.
Yeah.
Anyways, next question.
Yep. Go ahead.
The quote comes from Gloria. Which one was Gloria?
I think she was the
Mom.
mother.
Okay. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. The question is, the dual expectations that we have aren't just about females, right? What are some dual expectations for males in our society?
We're supposed to be strong yet supportive. We're supposed to be passionate but not overly emotional. We're supposed to have the best body, but we're not supposed to be too buff. We're supposed to we're supposed to enjoy food but not be fat. We're supposed to be athletic, but we can't take it to extremes. We are supposed to love sports, but we're not supposed to be violent about it.
And some of those,
We're supposed to be romantic, but we're not supposed to be creepy either with trying to woo people.
ooh, those are good. I don't know what else I can add. I guess that I don't like sports that much.
I,
I
Can
know,
I
Bill, you
add
love
in
wrestling
my
and stuff.
take?
But yeah, give your take.
So I feel like there are some expectations that men have for themselves that I think girls can have as well. Like they want to have a good job, they want to have a healthy relationship, they want a very nice house, which very reasonable. But eh, sometimes those expectations just can't be met.
Hmm.
You just gotta so like so I completely lost my train of thought there. But you guys know where I'm coming from, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, 2 more to go.
All right.
Both quotes are from Ken. Next quote is, "Am I Ken enough?"
I am Ken enough.
Or no, I read this wrong. I am Kenneth. How does Ken changing the catchphrase from "I am enough" empower him to be himself?
it's reminding him that he's a priority to himself. He has a priority to making himself happy, not trying to make others happy so they'll like him.
Yeah. As a big fan of The Big Lebowski, this feels like a very dude thing. Like he's becoming the dude in a way. He is thinking about himself, and
Let's hope
he
it's
will help other people and stuff.
Yeah.
And I lost my train of thought with this too.
Yeah. So I think Ken is realizing that he needs to put his own priorities ahead of others because his main priority was pleasing Barbie, making her happy, and thus so she could give him more attention than the other Kens. But he needs to know that that just won't work. That he needs to focus on his own happiness, his own well-being.
Yeah, just taking it easy in a way.
Yeah.
Taking care of himself first.
Last one, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Quote from Ken: "I'm a liberated man, I know crying is not weak. Or crying's not weak, sorry. Even though Ken says this, how does our society view boys crying? Is this fair?
I want to start where can I start off with this?
Okay.
So it seems like some people might view guys crying as a sign of weakness. Like, oh, we're supposed to be tougher than that. No, we can actually show our emotional side from time to time.
Another film series I think is great at showing men crying, and one I think we all think is awesome. I think we all think it's amazing. The Lord of the Rings.
Yes,
Oh,
very
yeah.
true.
Except there's
So many
the
men
way
cry in
Lord of the
those
Rings-
movies.
except the way Lord of the Rings presented, it comes off feeling manly. Well, in the context with Ken, it's supposed to be like it's okay to feel overwhelmed over these things. It's crying is a is a chemical reaction. It's supposed to help us when we're overwhelmed, so we can get back, so we can calm down.
Probably
It's
yeah.
it's Ken pointing out that real after he steps away from that facade of manliness, he finds strength in tears. He finds strength in not being a tough guy, but by being open. He was not honest about his feelings to Barbie. If he had at any point in the movie talked to her and told her that he felt like he wasn't good enough for her, they probably would have figured out the relationship wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Much faster.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I also want to add, going off the Lord of the Rings thing, something Patrick said reminded me of Aragorn in that movie. At the you know how in the first movie he does that kind of like macho thing of chopping up that orc, and then just immediately afterwards he just is comforting Boromir and just crying over his dying body.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I feel like is a good balance, like, which goes back to the ultimate conclusion the Barbies and Kens come to is that they need balance between the Barbies and the Kens, making things fair.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that is fair. Aragorn does something honestly awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then's mourning over a lost friend. He doesn't celebrate he does this awesome thing. He mourns his friend who died.
Which is
died.
very reasonable.
Yeah.
And I think people should know it's okay to showcase emotions. Like, you know, trying to show yourself as like tough. That's not always like, you know, the best way. Like, you know, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel jealous. It's okay to feel anxious. All
It's all human
emotions are
emotion.
perfectly okay.
It's all human emotion.
What stands out for the movie is Barbie is explicitly saying it's okay to cry, because clearly people are going to take Lord of the Rings out of context and say, oh, Aragorn's so manly. You would see him crying, huh?
And he does. One of the things I like is that he does not revel in his manliness. He accepts it and even just tries to humble himself. He gives, at the end of the series, he gives all the credit to the hobbits, who are they say are the lowest race or whatever in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is at his coronation. And he's also now set to wed this hot elf girl. Yet he gives all the credit to these hobbits.
Which is a pretty awesome character move.
Yeah. Someone once described it as being the opposite of toxic masculinity, which is positive masculinity, which I think Aragorn embodies. And even then, he encourages Eowyn to fight in the final battle, or the Battle of Minas Tirith.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame we don't see her fighting in the final battle, though.
Or not the final battle. The Battle of Minas Tirith is what I meant.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying as a side note.
I could see the reason she was not there is because she was recovering from her wounds. That is the only explanation I have for her not being in the final battle. Plus, Faramir doesn't end up in the final battle in both the movie or the book.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions.
Yeah, so there's our deep analytical dive into, or not analytical dive, our, I guess, psychological dive into the Barbie movie, which, like we said, is taking the world by storm. Everybody is talking about it, even though it came out this past summer. People still to this day are talking about it.
Yeah. Also, for the record, that scene at the end of the movie where she is talking to the creator, that got me crying. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful scene. I thought you were talking
Did you
about
cry
the
that scene, Will?
Yeah. I choose not to comment.
I will admit I did cry at that scene. I got a little teary eyed. You had to
No,
admit
it
it
was
was a good
definitely a
scene.
very emotional moment. I will
Yeah.
admit.
Yeah. My father cries all the time at movies.
Aw.
Yeah, and I lightheartedly tease him for it. It's kind of a love language in my family.
Mhm.
Um,
So, yeah, we like this movie. It's not a masterpiece. I don't think it's as good. I'm just gonna be a little bit biased. While I did like it, it's not on the level of like Oppenheimer. I'd
yeah.
say
Would you
I
watch it
haven't
again
seen
though?
Oppenheimer.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I can see
I
myself
don't.
putting this on again for fun.
I don't think. I don't think it'll be like any big awards contenders, but who knows? Maybe it'll surprise us.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope it gets some recognition.
yeah. It's earned the recognition, even if it's not perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I like the production design. I like some of the music. The acting was really good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought this was pretty
it
solid.
The
was
writing was
funny.
hilarious.
I was laughing. I was crying.
All
Sometimes that's
right,
all you need in a movie is just to laugh and cry.
all right. So our next review, gonna talk to Jessup about that, and we will let the group.
But we didn't talk about this earlier.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, you wanted to do
Oh
the
yeah.
that one
So
movie.
there's this movie on Netflix that I was told about. Is
I thought we were
called
doing the Wonka one.
what?
The Wonka one.
It hasn't come
Oh
out
yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. That'll be something completely different. So
Okay.
next week, we're going to be reviewing a movie that was actually a favorite of mine growing up to celebrate the newer movie coming out, the original Willy Wonka.
Ooh, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
The
Yes.
OG, the Gene Wilder one.
Oh, hated.
Hmm?
The one that Ronald Dahl hated.
Well, you have seen that it got a prequel that is doing really well right now at the box office.
I heard it's getting good reviews.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
sure if
is
I.
it doing well at the box office? I don't know if it's doing
It
well at the
hasn't
box
come
office.
out yet, but it's already gotten some reviews out.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I wasn't sure. I might have gotten reviews and box office mixed up in my head. I'm sorry.
it's
It's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Record,
we're going to
it's
be reviewing
really good reviews right now.
the original Willy Wonka. I'm excited to see what your guys' reaction to it is after a long time, after whenever the last time was you guys saw
I'm
it.
trying to remember when I last saw it.
Mm. Well,
It'll be
you'll
fun
have
though.
plenty of time to think
And
about
I definitely want to go see the Wonka movie in theaters.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence about it. I don't really like how they're making all these prequels. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they worked hard on it.
The one thing that is like keeping me like from wanting to see this, which is making me want to see this, is that it's the same people who did the Paddington movies.
Which are fantastic. If you haven't seen those, go check them out.
Oh yeah.
Now, Paddington 2, I definitely cried at.
Yeah, I'd say the second one is better than the first.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
All
the
right.
second one for its faithfulness to the books and its production design and creepiness.
That team does really good like whimsical children's stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So until next time, you guys make your closing remarks or closing lines.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic. It's fantastic.